the one who does. It's me. I'm the one out here putting the work in behind the scenes, trying to save crypto. These devils, Sam Bankman-Fried, Brian Armstrong, they're trying to permanently ruin it. This is not about money for me. This is not about money. 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 Devils, this is not about money. This is not about money. Devils, this is not about money. This is not. 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 This is not about trying to save crypto while these devils, 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 trying to save crypto while these devils. This is not about money. It's me. Trying to save crypto while these devils. This is not about money. It's me. It's me. It's me. It's me. Trying to save crypto while these devils. This is not about money. It's me. Trying to save crypto while these devils. This is not
There is
about
no
money.
second best.
It's me.
There is no second best crypto asset. There is no second best. There is no second best crypto asset.
Trying to save crypto while these devils. Devils. This is not about money. 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 This is not. 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 Trying to save crypto. Trying to save crypto while these devils. This is not about money. It's me. Trying to save crypto while these devils. This is not about money. It's me. It's me. It's me.
There is no second best. There is no second best crypto asset.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How is everybody this fine Wednesday? He says, slightly dubious of what day of the week it is. Are you all winning? Do I own a Milady? Is the real inflation hedge? No, I do not own a Milady. It's the real inflation hedge? Wow. I find that unlikely, given that most NFTs are slowly migrating to zero. But, I mean, happily be proved wrong. If it wasn't for global macro, I'd be balls deep in crypto right now. I mean, I think there's still quite a few inherent risks. But yeah, we'll chat about that. So I hope you enjoyed the remix of Mr. BitBoy. I'm obviously in no way affiliated with BitBoy or the remixer of said tunes, but I just like it. I'll share it in the chat for your delight and delectation at a future date, because yeah, I certainly don't want to take credit for something I didn't do. So how is everyone? Are you all balls deep long? Short? Not positioned? I've been my usual bitch ass self and just gone for cheap hooker strategy. Flat now. Lovely. Short, but rather stay flat. Spot bags bought earlier in the week. Lovely. Waiting for shorting. I like that because a lot of people seem to be like of the impression that I get from reading tweets, which is obviously no real inclination on people's actual positioning, is that everything is just going to go to zero, and it's going to go to zero within the next 5 minutes. And it's like, that's not really the way markets work. Even in, full up only mode, you still get pullbacks, right? Same with down only mode, you still get pullbacks, you still get squeezes, and some of them, as we can see, can be quite violent. 100x long on Litecoin? Wow, someone's paying for beers tonight. Kind of expect 50% drawdown. What, from here? I'm just scalping these days. Yeah, I mean, personally, that's my risk appetite. Like, I kind of get the whole meme of buy the fear, and you've got to buy the dip, you've got to balls deep long the dip, and that's fine. People do what they want, but for me personally, like, I like low time frame scalping alt rotations, and for me this is like the perfect conditions to be doing that in. So why would I drop what I'm good at to like try and effectively time the bottom of a market that is still riddled with risk? Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it. I mean, for me personally, like, I was looking at, I was talking about it yesterday actually, like this being a range deviation, and whether or not you want to treat it as a deviation, buy some spot, go long, etc. It played out, but my personal risk appetite just said no, I do not. Even though we took these lows here, like I don't want to take that trade purely because the market just, I don't know, it's just on a knife edge, and my exposure, or my personal want to be exposed to the market is actually just on a very low time frame basis. I'm literally on the 1 to 5 minute charts at the moment, and I've been playing the joys that have been CHZ, a little bit of Litecoin, and that's it. It's really not been super spectacular. I mean, I get that a lot of people have been playing Litecoin, and everyone caught the $59 bottom on Litecoin or whatever it was. I certainly did not. Expecting fuckery over Thanksgiving. Yeah, that's the other side of it, isn't it? Is that we do have a few oddities. Yes, a major resistance and crypto bullish. Seems scary to me. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my thinking towards the start of the week was a little bit just like, I thought dollar was gonna carry on going up. To be honest with you, that was my had some divergences down the lows. Nice push up. Thought we'd actually continue that push. We haven't. Yes, NQ have been pretty strong. I actually thought that this was going to pull back as well. So I thought wrongly that macro would be risk off, and I thought therefore what we would do is, because crypto seems to be like this, if macro's doing this, if TradFi is doing that, Bitcoin seemed to be doing that. If ESNQ were doing that, then Bitcoin would do that. So kind of the risk scenario of those two didn't seem to add up to me personally, which is another reason why I didn't want to long on BTC down here. But that's fine. Don't need to be in every single trade, and hashtag influencers getting it wrong. I definitely didn't buy the bottom. Might be a scam pump. Feels like one bad news event can change the chart completely. Yeah, and it can. And equally, one good news event, it can seemingly change charts quite quickly. So one thing that I've been working on with some from the group actually is a sort of news dashboard to be able to try my hand at news trading, and not necessarily use that as kind of a main source of trade triggers, but simply use it as confluence for specific positions that I'm trading. So if anyone was in last week's stream, you'll know that I kept just banging on about CHZ. And, you know, CHZ, very, very strong. Going into the World Cup. All the memery, basically every single CHZ rotation. This was obviously... Let's go back a bit. It's obviously back here. Sorry, back here. It was really, really strong. Had a very good feel for actually, you know, this was a in-play coin. It was basically up only. You know, it's very hard to lose money unless you're on literally, you know, the 1 minute time frame. Even just a meme lord diagonal would have kept you reasonably in the game, let alone something like EMAs. Yeah, it's just a highly trending coin, or it was, and now obviously GCR shorts here. Or did he short up here? I don't know what his actual entry was, and off we go. That's the narrative over. Mark GCR's tweet. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, luckily for me, like I was on, I was chatting to Jim and Visualize Alpha on Friday, which was here, and I was just banging on about how I don't understand how people haven't just been longing CHZ all week and making money, and that was the play, and that was also, you know, the quote unquote generational top. Now, I think on Friday was the only day where I said my perspective or my bias has changed from just pure bull to a bit more neutral. And I did short somewhere in here. I think I sold it for like a 0.3% gain or something like that. So yeah, proper paper ants is probably my problem in these conditions. In that I'm so just happy to get in and out quite quickly and take, you know, even just a few percentage points, even on something that's done what? Yeah, 50 odd percent. I mean, if you want to go from the actual lows. Wow. God, what is wrong with me? Every time I get on stream, my aim is just awful. 87%. Sorry to be a noob, but can you explain what's happening to CRV? That's alright, mate. I'm a noob too. I haven't been following the situation, to be honest. It's DeFi Wars, isn't it? I've tried to just stick to trading my own charts and thesis this week, and as you've probably guessed, I'm pretty tired. I don't know why. I just can't seem to sleep. I'm getting old, I guess. Insomnia, perhaps. But yeah, I'm going to go through just sort of my brief view of the market, and instead of just rambling. And yeah, you know, from a BTC perspective, I'm going to take a couple of these indicators off. You know, we're seeing slight divergences across these highs. I am in a very small short from 600, which is actually not a bad entry. And yeah, looking at this div, just seeing if it plays out. The other thing that's got me a little bit worried is this. So we will see. We'll see if my theory of a pullback is correct. If we get something like this and we get a little pullback down to here, then maybe that's the time to flip bias and look at longs. But yeah, I'm not playing anything particularly like I've got a generational short entry, like I've got a generational long entry. You know, I think playing low time frame rotations in the market is the way to go for me personally and my risk appetite. I don't want to deploy loads of capital into the market at this point in time. You know, there are still contagion risks and all that kind of wonderful stuff. There are still potential impacts on things like, well, exchanges potentially. We've got all that stuff with Shilbert's group, and yeah, who knows? I'm just happy with the cheap hooker strategy. Cheap, in, out, get your job done, and get your account balance up. Nice and simple. And you'll see that these haven't really changed much since last week. So yeah, for BTC, not really looking at anything else. I don't want to play a continuation long. I think in terms of aggressive moves, I think that is quite an aggressive move. I think the way the perps are positioning is quite aggressive. I think, yeah, that kind of adds up to I'd rather longer pullback and short somewhere in here to play a short intraday trade. So if anyone else has got anything on CRV, you can explain it to a name. That's sadly not my bag. Big on-chain wars.
There is no second best. There is no second best crypto asset.
Litecoin was the trade that, I think everyone caught, apart from me. Well, that's what it seems like, judging by Twitter. Which, I'm not sure I like this paradigm, lads. I'm not sure we've picked the right altcoin. But maybe that's just salty Charlie for missing the quote-unquote obvious move. Did any of you boys boys, girls, days, catch Litecoin? I mean, it's an absolute beast, isn't it? Let's be honest. Kind of looks like that initial Doge pump. Caught Matic and Doge. Not touching Litecoin ever again. Why not? Why not? Litecoin's great. Litecoin's actually genuinely quite useful. You've got PTSD from when it pumped before. Why have they put this dinosaur on it so out of place? Got your eyes on Nia? Yeah, I posted something the other day which is like, let's go near perp, shall we? Which, everyone's fucking super doom and gloom on Nia. That is great. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, maybe it was just the, yeah. Nia's going to go 99 down, minus 99%. Oh, I didn't get the exact low. But yeah, it's just the doom and gloom, like the sentiment. Like, from a set, like, I don't trade off sentiment, obviously, but it's always interesting that, okay, there's trouble with this, they own X% of the supply, it's going to zero, which clearly, if you had $1 billion of inventory on a shitcoin, you're not going to try and dump it to zero, are you? The Litecoin pattern from the past weeks is similar to the ones after the COVID crash? Is it? As in, like, absolute dump, and then just up only. I mean... Oh, this chat doesn't actually go back that far. Like, yeah, what's sentiment in the chat then? What's sentiment in the chat in terms of bottoms in, or... Let me phrase it another way. How far are we away from the bottom? Now, your answer can be time. Your answer can be percent. Your answer can be a Bitcoin price. Anything like that. What's your views? I want to gauge chat sentiment. Expect a bullish spring? 30 to 40%, 30 to 50%, 6 to 8 months. Everyone's saying it's over for Sol. Makes me want to be a degen and throw a big bag at it. 30 to 50% further down. Sailor margin call, yeah. That'll be interesting. Scams pump the hardest. Do I like the 4-hour AO div on coin? I don't really touch stonks, my friend. But I might have to if this market gets regulated to shit. Q1 2023 Fed pivot. So shortly after. Guessing equities bottom. DCA is king. 1 year, 35%. 35% on SPX. Woohoo! Lovely. Get everyone bullish. Have a last leg down before accumulation. Woohoo! Couple more bankruptcies than up only. You guys are great. Monthly bonus. A fat check with it, so I'll just buy on a 1 to 3 year kisser. Fair. 20% mindset. We're in a recession. At least 3 more years of bear market. Bottom is not in. Moonboy974, your name does not check out, my friend. Boredom capitulation. Still needs to take a long time. Yeah, maybe after Echo. Bottom's in when I get paid. Lovely. When CT stops being so bullish for a bottom. Yeah. Yeah, some banks are really close to being on the run. Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. Anyway, plans to hold for 2 to 4 years. Bitcoin under 15k should be a good buy. Yeah. Trump pump will be real. I'm not seeing despair, so bottom's not in. Yeah, I kind of like that view. Am I still playing WoW? Yes, for my sins. It's it drains my attention a little bit when I'm trading, when I'm in a degenerate trade in particular. Especially at the moment. I feel like I'm so robotic at the moment. Playing WoW or watching my stream, that's the way to do it. Yeah, like I think this is the thing, isn't it? Like trying to time a bottom is just absolute fucking lunacy. And you know, we probably spoke back here, somewhere back here, and a lot of people was kind of saying that, you know, we've had the Luna blow up, we've had TradFi massive pullback, we keep having rate increases. You know, how much worse can it get? And there's that classic meme, isn't there? Like, picture the worst that you think it can get, times it by 10, and then times it by 10 and again. And that's how fucking bad it can get. Like, you just keep going, right? Like, there is no bottom. There is no bottom on crypto that's kind of guaranteed, right? It can always get worse. That's not me trying to, you know, fearmonger or do any bullshit like that. I don't benefit in any way, shape, or form from trying to, you know, say, oh, we can always go down further. But it's kind of the thing that gets me is how hopeful everyone still is for the kind of great crypto recovery. And you know, we're heading into a time where money is going to be tighter than it ever has been, particularly for UK people, I think, because the UK have just released like the most brutal budget in terms of tax and tax impact to, you know, the standard or average working person in 60 years. So you combine that with, you know, rate increases like on mortgages and stuff like that, and the cost of money going up, like they're not going to have as much money to spend on shitcoins. Now that's probably going to do one or two things. It's either going to make people say, well, I really want to be financially free and I want to, you know, take the gamble on Dogcom Inu 69 a lot more. I think that's going to be what drives a sort of minor echo bubble. Or it's going to make people say, fuck, I've really just got to look after this last tenner that I've got, and I'm probably going to take a low risk investment thesis, if any. And yeah, I just, you know, we haven't even, like, this is just crypto, right? Not even getting into like earnings reports and stuff like that in TradFi, and then obviously TradFi's impact on crypto. But yes, it's a strange one for me, because I personally just don't think. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I personally just don't see, you know, a huge bull run again for a while. Let's not say there's not going to be specific projects or specific sections of crypto that don't have good runs. You know, look at DeFi Summer of whenever it was, 2020. Like pre-crypto, pre-COVID. See, I am tired. You know, that is a good example where a kind of sector decorrelated from the rest of the market and provided a lot of opportunities. Now, I still think that there's going to be things like that in the space, but obviously you've got a downward spiral of, you know, the lower the market goes, the more funds, projects, etc. blow up, the less people think this is an interesting space to operate in, the less developers there are, the less projects get spun up. You know, yada yada yada. It just kind of keeps going. And there's a real good thing about that, if you are a long-term believer in the space, is that hopefully valuations come down from, oh, I've got an idea, I've got a white paper, and I'm going to try and raise, 10 million on a $1 billion valuation, to I'm going to try and raise 2 million on a 10 million valuation. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then if you invest in that particular project and that goes from 10 million to a billion market cap, you've got a far, far better return because it's been priced at these levels instead of these levels. So yeah, I think, like, for me, like, that balance of risk reward in terms of investing in projects and stuff at this kind of space, or sorry, at these times in this space, just isn't there. Like, I'm quite happy to buy bits of stuff here and there. I'm quite happy to look at new projects. I'm quite happy to try things out. Like on-chain gambling. I think it's going to be a big thing next run. So I'm having a little dabble here, there, everywhere. Current narrative is liquidity in the market. Stripes 90% of CT has bought the Black Friday sale on TradingView. Yeah, and like I say, I'm not trading off sentiment, but it's a useful kind of barometer of the fact that everyone thinks they're going to make it next cycle, and that next cycle's just around the corner because we've had a 90% drawdown on some odds. All these governments are too big and inefficient. If they run fat, just tax more. Got to trim it back. Yeah. Who thinks SPX has bottomed? Had a 2-year long bull run. Why not have a 2-year long bear? Yeah. I mean, I think for me, it's not about like length of time necessarily. It's just about when are people going to be attracted to this market again, and I think hope and confidence in the market generally, not from my perspective. Like, I think different people want different things out of crypto. Some people want the decentralized nature of it. Some people want practical applications. Some people just want a way to gamble and become multimillionaires, which, let's be honest, that's probably what a lot of people want, as much as they say they want the core values and principles of crypto. Yeah, they're probably here for the money, let's be honest. And who doesn't like money, right? We had the bear market, now the bearisher market. Oh man, I've just noticed your name ruined by FTX. Sorry to hear it, Jeff. Will people be interested again? Well, there was a sort of Google search rankings of altcoins and Bitcoin, and I think the charts looked, as you can imagine, like this. So 2021 peak, 2017 peak, just basically dead and dying. Probably the odd peak from things like FTX, but again, it's not a by no means is that a fucking reason to invest or not invest. But it is a kind of interesting metric and a reference point. Although it would be comical if Zuzu said the market is fucked for 10 years, and that's the actual Pico bottom. What do I want to see to consider it a bottom? Death of volatility, to be honest, which I don't want to see at all. I couldn't think of anything worse personally. Like, my mental health would just deteriorate massively because it would be so fucking boring. But at the moment we've got quite a lot of volatility. Everything's moving. We've got quite a lot of participation, I think, in the market for where it is. It's nowhere near the levels that it was like 6 months or a year ago. Nowhere near. But yeah, I think maybe it's just a different environment. Maybe it's just, how do I put it? Maybe it's just, I recall 2018, 2019, and it was you're chasing one coin all the time, and that's it. There's only basically one tradable asset. Everything else was pretty dull. But these days, you've got so much. You could rotate from CHZ to Litecoin, and you'd be up, 100%, 100% basically in like 2 weeks. I'm not saying you'd time it perfectly or anything like that, but yeah, it's there's a lot of opportunity still, and especially if you can trade both ways. If you're adept at longing and shorting, then yeah, there's huge amounts of opportunity. Tough. The feeling when you miss the generational GBP USD bottom. Yeah, unlucky, mate. I certainly didn't. I sold a lot of my crypto USD down here. Do you think we can get more money flow into crypto markets? That wasn't the last bull. Crypto is all just speculation. What does Bitcoin offer that its fair value would be 70k or more? It's a good question. Like, the core value proposition of Bitcoin hasn't changed in the 10 years, really, since it's been created. Like, it's not changed, has it? Yes, okay, from the security and protocol perspective, it's probably got better. There have been integrations of like DeFi with it and stuff, but it's the same thing. What's the difference between Bitcoin at 70k and Bitcoin at $70? There's really nothing. And that's the kind of perpetual problem of crypto, is that it is, 99% speculative value. There are very few coins that generate their own cash flows based on like protocol usage and make it worth owning said coin, other than potential appreciation of that coin's value. Very few. There are some. Right, Charlie, go fucking Bitcoin. Well, that's working out alright, isn't it? Slow and steady. So what I'm always interested in is what's holding up. Pretty much nothing. Lovely.
There is no second best. There is no second best crypto asset.
But anyway, talking about generational bottoms. CHZ. Go on, son. Go on.
There is no second best. There is no
Let's
second best crypto asset.
liquidate GCR, who's, only up probably a couple of million by now. So yeah, let's talk indicators, shall we? Because I kind of promised you that I would talk about some indicators this stream. Would I recommend any DEX trading platforms? No, not personally. But that's my experience. I'm actually trading on Bybit at the moment, and I've migrated from FTX to Bybit, and yes, I was very lucky in terms of my migrationary date. So I don't, I fully appreciate that I managed to get out of FTX literally like 2 days before it all went to Pete Tong. Yeah, I'm trading on Bybit and I'm loving it. Like, my win rate has gone up a fair bit since being on FTX. I think it's because they don't actually hunt customers' positions, despite the fact that they then, FTX lose everything after it. So whilst they've got God mode enabled, They so managed to fuck it up, didn't they? Monumental levels of idiocy. No browser lags? No, honestly, like, I'm not just saying it. Like, I have got a partnership with Bybit, and if you sign up using my ref link below, you can get up to like a $30,000 deposit bonus. And I'm going to do a giveaway with them in a jiffy. But yeah, honestly, it's so smooth. It's so different. The biggest gripe one of the biggest gripes I had with FTX, to be honest with you, was I'd be sat on TradingView and I would watch a 1 second chart, and I'd watch a 1 second chart kind of do this, and I'd be looking at the FTX UI, and the chart would still be like that, and then it would go like that, and then about a second later your position would update, and it was just a fucking mess. Like, FTX was just horrible considering it was worth like billions and billions and billions. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like I was using this, I was literally using TradingView as my UI basically. It was fucking horrible. I don't know why I didn't get off sooner. In all honesty, I really don't. But, you know, you look back in hindsight and you live and you learn, right? So yeah, let's talk through some indicators. I've got some free ones out there, and let's just turn some of this shit off. And you would have seen, you know, different ones used at different points, and I'll just talk through kind of how I see them, how I use them or don't use them, as the case may be, when they work and when they don't work. Because I saw some cunt on Twitter be like, oh, those indicators always say it's the bottom. It's like, one, it's an indicator. It's not a trading system, right? And two, indicators are kind of what they say on the tin. They indicate. They don't directionally tell you what's going to happen next. So, yes. Where do we start then? Let's go XO. So all of these are here, and I'm just going to dump that in the chat before any of you start asking. So I've got quite a few different ones, but these are the public ones. Where are we going? Right. XO Macro Trend Scanner. So all this is a couple of EMAs, which you can change, and you can change your inputs, and you can do kind of whatever you want with in terms of using it to generate signals. So EMAs are very useful for trend identification, and also just when trends are potentially reversing, right? So let's take this CHZ chart, because it's been very strong in terms of a trending move up and down. Now you can see that because we've had very strong trends, it's been relatively accurate. It gets chopped up in periods of consolidation, as does any kind of trending indicator, and that's when you kind of start drawing ranges on things, and you go, okay, well, if we get a range breakout, maybe that's the play. Longing bottom of ranges to take, you know, what you've essentially got as a narrative play, that what you want to long into World Cup because you've seen relative strength on spaghetti, or something like that, right? And you're kind of building a trade thesis out, and all it's doing is giving you confirmation of when trends are being, you know, regained and lost. Now you can change EMAs to be whatever you want. You can change them to be faster and more responsive to price action by obviously lowering it, you know, 6 and 12 or something like that. I think 12 and 21 is the default, and you can consolidate it if you want, and just have it as one EMA, which can obviously be a different EMA than the two that you are comparing. So all it's actually doing is saying it's a bullish cross when the short-term EMA, or the shorter EMA, is going over the longer one, the longer length one, right? That's kind of it. It's really not that complex. Some things that you probably won't know in terms of like this indicator in particular is that you can set an alert. So you can go Macro Trend Scanner and you can go bearish EMA cross or bullish EMA cross. So bearish is where the short-term one, the faster EMA, I think it's called fast EMA, overtakes the slow EMA, and vice versa. Bull cross, bear cross. Okay, Simple as that. And you can set alerts, and you can kind of let the trades come to you. It does work on any time frame. The difficulty generally with EMAs, now I'm not an EMA trader by nature, though I did go through a period in 2018, I think, of trying to be an EMA trader because I thought there was like an EMA cheat code where if I could crack the magic EMA cheat code, I could complete the market and be a billionaire overnight, which is an absolute fucking fallacy, right? There's never going to be an EMA that works all the time. Contextually, it's very, very good. So if you used like a 200 EMA or something like that, let's have a look. A lot of people use 200 EMAs just as, right, if it's above the 200 EMA, I can long. If it's below it, I can short, which means that you generally miss huge sections of moves. But it's a little bit more. It kind of gives you an invalidation, like above it and you're out of shorts, or below it you're out of longs. I personally don't really trade like that. Gotta use fractional EMA 15.5. Yeah, cheers, Magus.
There is no second best. There is no second best crypto.
But yes, that's just one. And all it does is color things for you. I had to add some stochastic RSI crap in it to make it stochastic RSI crossover, which, to be honest with you, was just so that the virgins at TradingView don't ban the script, because all it's really doing is taking an EMA cross and coloring it in, and then coloring it in on this EMA here. But it is very useful, I think, for lower time frame, and I will occasionally use it as typically a 25 EMA. Sorry, I don't actually want both. And I will use it just as a kind of a guide to say, well, should I really be closing now? If we're hovering at that EMA and we lose it, I'm usually willing to take a smaller. I'm willing to take like here, for example. I'm willing just to hold it for a little bit longer and take that like loss of EMA and go, do you know what? If I'm up on a position, I'm kind of willing to re-put that back in. And I'm explaining that fucking terribly. But, I do occasionally use it as, am I being a pussy? And am I taking my foot off the gas too quickly? Because that's one of my personal biggest problems, is I want to take money off the table really, really quickly. Which I think I alluded to at the start of the stream. So it can be very helpful for that. Is that kind of clear? Is that kind of knowledge thoroughly delightful for you all? I assume it's not new knowledge to most of you. I assume that a lot of you have seen EMAs before, and that, that's not particularly new to anybody, but I could be wrong. $69 and $4.20. I didn't know what $4.20 was until a few weeks ago. Like, genuinely. I had to Google it. Yeah, boomer. Yeah, I'm an absolute boomer. I think it's just from where I am, it's probably more easy to acquire, should I say. Bro. I know. It's a burger thing, isn't it? $4.20. Right, $4.20. 20th of April, $4.20. An occasion for smoking or celebrating the smoking of cannabis. Yes, it is. It's an American thing. It's burger stuff. See? Come on, you can excuse me on that one. Every day is 420. Yeah, I think that's it. Some of the boys are, every day is 420. So hopefully I'm forgiven. Ba-da-bang. An American phrase meaning to smoke Delta 9, yeah, cannabis, mainly used by hoodlums. Wow. You see, that's the thing, is I'm obviously not a hoodlum. I'm of the Queen's finest. Anyway, back to indicators. Just because I said I would.
There's no second
People have been
crypto
asking
asset.
for a long time, and I've never really been asked. Let's go for an easier one. Well, not that EMAs are difficult, but an easy one next, shall we? Easy index builder. So this is just a proper way of doing indexes and weighting them. So if you are a complete fucking degenerate, what you can do is you can build your own indexes of coins, allocate certain percentages, and this actually does the maths properly, as opposed to the way that TradingView does it, which is when you aggregate everything on TradingView. If you've got a 1-cent coin and a $1 coin, it misweights them. It's not like a perfect 100 to 1 weighting, but it definitely misweights them. Someone much smarter than me. His name's Drew, I think it is, and he's like a proper math nerd, did a massive thread on it, and I just messaged him saying, should I turn that into an indicator? Do you mind? And he was like, yeah, no, go for it. So yeah, we built this, and it's just the quote-unquote proper way of weighting indexes and building them. So, applications for this are, you could do things like Metaverse, you could do things like, DeFi, you can do whatever, you can make your own indexes off this and potentially create your own spaghetti off it, turn it to an effective relative strength chart using that. You could do or backtest your actual allocations and see how it's holding up versus, I don't know, Total 2 or something like that. So there are a couple of different ways that you could use it, but it's just the proper way to build indexes. So nice and easy. VRVP is just a default. It's a default indicator. That's all I do. I actually normally use volume area 100. I don't really care about the 70% in which volume is mostly traded. All I use this for is simple confluence of, if I'm looking at this and I'm trying to establish a range, then I get my lines to draw up quite nicely there. Well, that's actually fucking terrible. Probably there, isn't it? And that's why you kind of look at this and go, is it breaking down from that value? Oh yes it is. Obviously hindsight, but do you want to be participating in the chop, or do you want to be playing breakouts? Do you want to be positioning for breakouts? What are you doing? How are you trading? Entirely up to you, but I quite like it. Just nice and easy and visual. Not one of my things. KCBs. Now, you have probably seen the likes of Jim Tablet using them, and that's who I built them for. What, Hitler's birthday? Fucking hell! Oh my god! 420 is Hitler's birthday. I'm meant to be talking about indicators, not like birthdays of dictators. So yeah, all KCPs are is they're just bands, right? Most bands work the same ways. They're just trying to show you. I don't think that even does anything. They're just trying to show you the extremes, right? And what it doesn't mean is, price is at an extreme. It's going to reverse. Absolutely not. As you can tell, here. Right, all these tags into it just show that this is your EMA. I can't remember what it is. What it's set on, 44, I guess, of price, and these. Sorry, I was just watching the screen. And these are extremes. Now, in a completely mean reverting environment, you would say, okay, and any deviation has a high chance to mean revert. But you don't actually know whether you're in a trending or mean reverting environment most of the time. But what it does show you is when you combine it with, I'm just gonna hide that one for a second. When you combine it with other indicators, which is how, as I understand, like Jim uses it and how I use it, and when you combine it with typical support resistance levels, when you combine it with a couple of other things like in my scalping setup, you can start to say, well, we're trading at like an extreme. Let's find an example. Might have to go lower time frame. I'm trying to think of the last CHZ trade I actually took of it. It's probably nothing good. Yeah, you've got a kind of shitty RSI div here. Yeah, maybe I should have prepped a better example. But the way I use it is I look for. Let's go to this one. So here earlier. Okay, we're on a 1 minute chart. Let's bear that in mind. And my settings are slightly different. So I've changed the length, and I've changed the settings just a little bit. Now, the way I change settings is really to match the price action that I'm seeing. Now, there's a huge like risk with that, in that you're essentially assuming that prior price action is going to be it's going to move in the same way as it did, right? And that's obviously not always the case. The market can do whatever the fuck it wants, whenever the fuck it wants. So indicators are not foolproof. They're kind of just there to give you an at-a-glance view of what's going on. So yeah, I will keep drumming that point home. But like over here, for example, what I was looking at actually this morning was I was saying, like, look, I can CHZ. We've had a huge sell-off. We keep having this, so I wasn't really participating sort of down here, but we keep having this run up into this level, and down here I was like, well, okay, let's go back to 1 minute. Like, this is kind of, for me, building a position like down here, it's kind of do or die. I really wanted to see a strong, high volume breakout of this, right? And there was a couple of things that led into that. One was, where are we? Here, we actually had, for the first time in a while, relative strength on CHZ. So my computer's going to die. I think it was, let's have a beep. Are we 1050? So 1050. So yeah, look, we had relative strength. You can see it there, right? We had that relative strength on CHZ. We had it pushing into a kind of former level. We had, let's go 30 minutes. Let's take the KCBs off. Now we had relatively clean, like, uptrend, and we had this here. Now I'm talking through a trade that didn't work out, just for clarity, but here's how I kind of sized off round here. So we got an impulse, and we then pulled back. We got another impulse, and we are at the extremes. We are pushing into this, absolutely failing to flip it, and we've tried to push into extremes a few times. We're getting RSI divs, which on the 1 minute chart doesn't really mean a lot, right? But you can see that feigning momentum. You can see that this was an attempt at breaking out, and you can see that it just basically died. You even got that retest at that level there, which, you know, I actually did short, and then I closed my short in here like an absolute fucking paper-handed bitch, which has been my problem, and I hope you're all getting that impression. But yeah, it's telling me that if there's not an extreme move at an extreme, you know, in my favor, that I want to get out quite quickly, or potentially fade it. I was too slow to fade it. Far too slow. Far too slow. So in isolation, it's not just a case of use these bands to try and oscillate, because you can't. In a 1 minute downtrend, you're gonna be longing for a fucking long time before you get a decent reversal. But combine it with RSI, and you start getting, well, actually, this looks a bit more bottomy than all of this, and you've actually had a reasonable bounce. You've had capitulation volume, potentially, not financial advice, for at least a small bounce. So yeah, it's kind of, for me, it's really useful if you get a strong move into a band, and then you get some RSI divs on like a 5-10 minute, and then you can play that reversion play. But again, on its own, it's not the panacea for trading markets effectively. Does that make sense? Do any of you actually use these bands? Yeah, always for scalping. You do sometimes. Use them on ticks. Yeah, interesting. Are there any free indicators like that? Yeah, mate, all of these are free. All the ones that have gone over are free. There you go. Alright, what's moving? Dogshit rotation. Five-minute BT scalping? I turned 1k into $100 using the indicator. Follow for more alpha. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, that's the way to do it, mate. Yeah, I can make you a millionaire with crypto. Just start with $1 billion. Easy. So there's definitely more alpha to be had with bands and stuff, and I probably could have prepared things a little bit better in terms of showing you some, higher time frame, more higher time frame charts, I guess. Mine are configured slightly more for lower time frame, but when you start getting, I guess this is a good hindsight example, where you've got, that classic high volume, like high volume, high volume, high volume push. Then you got distribution, you got sweep of the former highs in an extreme of a band with an RSI div, on a reasonably significant time frame. Is there a cause to move from a long only mode to a potential neutral stance where you're willing to play both sides? I mean, that was kind of part of my thought process. But actually, part of my thought process was more about the parabola. But that's where you start going into, has this trending move exhausted itself? And it's quite difficult because it's not 100% perfect, and none of these things are. But it does give you quite often a quite clear sign that you're at an extreme. And these bands are actually configured, like I showed you in my settings, didn't I? They're actually configured for lower time frames. Should we catch up with chat? Where's chat? I don't really use RSI. Don't know how to really use them. Rather haven't built a system like Jim. Okay. You'll see RSI. There's probably loads of guides elsewhere on RSI, but Do I go into RSI? You guys probably all know what RSI is, don't you? Yeah, I mean the Paragon. Sorry, I should probably hide that, shouldn't I? The Paragon one is just part of the Paragon group. I mean, like, if you join the Paragon group, I'll give it to you. But I've not revoked access to anyone yet because, quite frankly, I can't be fucked. It's a very manual process. But yeah, the Paragon stuff's a bit more like volume orientated, largely because I built them for Magus and Co. But yeah, that's kind of the stuff there. Are there any free that don't require premium trading view? I don't know actually, but there is obviously the Black Friday deal on. Tried to build spaghetti thing. I mean, it's really easy, mate. Just take this one. There you go. And then you should see a copy chart up here in the top right, and then you can just copy that, and then you can add your own shit in by doing compare and just literally adding them in, typing in whatever you want and clicking add. It's really not that complex. Right. DYDX breaking out the low time frame range. Yeah, I mean DYDX keeps having nice rotations, but it's so illiquid, so hard to trade. What indicator was it? The color the candle's in? That's actually, which one? Do you mean that? Oh yeah, that's my extreme volume indicator. But that's all that's doing is it's looking at it's just looking at extremes of volume. The same with this, right? It's just highlighting kind of like, I guess the way I look at it is what's the kind of effort to impact ratio of what's going in versus how we're moving. So if you see, a very, very strong move at an extreme that's essentially just getting absorbed, it's a bad example because they don't really line up. Like if you saw that up here and you saw a divergence across the RSI, you'd kind of be thinking like, yeah, this move is done. It's just, for me, like indicators should be a little bit more red and green, right? They should be a little bit more I should be able to explain to like my 7-year-old daughter, like if this is this, then do this, right? If you see this, then do that. Like that's a trading system. Hey, Nicky Stacks. I was just shilling your news terminal. Market took all your money. Oof, sorry, mate. send a dick pic to me and I'll let you have access. No, that's a lie. Unfortunately, what I do is I take that picture, I turn it into an NFT, so it's immortalized on the blockchain. I put your public details on there, and I sell it. So that if any future employers ever look at you, ever type your name into Google, what they're gonna find is an NFT of your genitalia up for sale. You ain't get much of a 1-incher. So it won't tell you, Scotty B8. It won't tell you if this is longs closing or shorts piling in. Like the information in TradingView isn't going to tell you that, unfortunately. Do I use ExoCharts? No. This is one thing I like about trading, is that like everyone's got their own kind of unique view and style and their own unique way of doing it. Magus, for example, is very, he uses all sorts of tools. He uses ExoCharts, he uses Flow, he uses Sierra, he uses Quant Tower and Tick Charts. Like it's very, very varied. Whereas I pretty much use what you see in front of you. I use a couple of other bits, but they're nothing quite as complex. And it's what works for you, right? Like, You see some traders just use this, like a black and white chart, no indicators. Yeah, that's it. That's all they need. SZ, XO, for example. Yeah. I know XO uses other bits and pieces on lower time frames, but 90% of their charts are this, with no shitty lines drawn on it. So nothing works for me. Fuck. I mean, there's a lot of this, like, a lot of people who are here have been doing this for years, and, you know, it's not been an easy up-only journey in terms of trading, at least it wasn't for me. You know, it was a lot of fuck-ups to start with. All you need is a good memory and candlesticks. I mean, potentially, yeah. Like, what if it works for you? It works for you, right? You'll see whatever works for you in your P&L. Your ability to focus, your ability to generate consistent returns. Like, if moon cycles work for you, then great. Use moon cycles. You know, not financial advice, but you have to come up with a trading approach that suits your style, your mentality, your kind of personality almost, I would say. You know, if you've got a minute attention span, then yeah, you probably need to be scalping low time frames and not trying to, or vice versa, you know, positional trading once in a blue moon. You know, saying, right, I think this is the DCA point for Bitcoin at 6K. I'm going to just chuck 10 grand in. I'm going to walk away. I'll set some sell orders at 70K and see what happens. You know, I see a lot of people trying to force trading styles on themselves almost, and that's one of the biggest mistakes I think people do. And I know I did it to start with. You know, I went for price action, then I went to MAs, then I went to, I don't know, Ichimoku maybe or something. I was always looking for that kind of golden method, and there isn't one. Yeah, you've got to try and find one, or find several that you can combine to suit the way that your brain works and can give you a clear read on when you want to play the market. You know, arguably the big Bitcoin range play was like the easiest play we've had in a while, right? Arguably that was, you know, absolute deviation, bruv. Should have max longed. Identified it, talked about it, decided I didn't want to do it. It's fine. It's my trading style, right? Do what the fuck I want with my money. And that's kind of the confidence I think you have to have. Hello, Ruck. Open the... yeah. Open Charlie's stream and see the CHZ chart. I don't trust good setups. It was interesting. When I was talking to Jim, he sort of said the same thing. That he's having not trouble executing, but the last week, I think, for him, or the last few days. Oh no, it was on RB stream just a minute ago. He was saying that, you know, he's finding it difficult to execute. I'm finding it difficult to execute with conviction in higher time frame setups. Is probably the way I would put it, for me personally. Don't listen to Charlie, just slide the leverage to the max on the right, and that's the power of leverage. Yeah, I mean, when you're all making 1%, I'm making 100% gains. That's the power of leverage. I mean, if you're going to do that, at least have the decency to do it on my ref link so I get some volume and fees, and then when you've lost all your money, I'll give it back to you. Yeah, I am looking at CHZ Ruck. You know I love I love losing money on CHZ. We were myself and Ruck were raiding the other night on World of Warcraft, and I may have got myself stuck in a pretty shitty CHZ position, and my and any WoW players in the chat will know the Kel'Thuzad fight at the end of 25 man. I stood in one of the void zones or whatever it was, and just fucking died while I was trying to manage my position. And everyone thought I was just like completely brain dead. But I was actually trading. Yeah, that next run was peak volatility. Yeah, it's fucking great, isn't it? You like commit yourself to like 2 hours of being virgins, and suddenly the market decides that it's going to move. It's great. Charlie, I lost all my money on your ref link. Well, actually, Bybit just got back to me and said, what was it? Let's have a peep. Gonna do a $500 giveaway to anyone who's signed up, or between the people who are signed up on my ref link. So someone who has signed up on my ref link will get $500 if you deposit $100 in any asset and open a trade. So cheers, Bybit. Lol, I miss my no life or WoW days. Yeah, mate. I mean, we were virgins, but I got Betrayer of Humanity despite the fact that I died, and I mean, fuck all damage anyway as an arms warrior. But oh yeah, if you want to be a good trader, boys, the best way to do it is to dual class World of Warcraft, one tank warrior, one mage, and play both at the same time and clear Nax 10 for yourself. If you can handle that level of micro, and you can concentrate on 2 things at once, playing 2 characters at once, then you're probably going to make it. I'm not gonna lie though, I've heard different people using different things, like news traders, for example. They'll practice speed typing, so that their execution is, godly. When they need to, type long CHZ $100,000, like they'll practice typing, speed typing, and they'll try and get to like 150 words per minute, and vice versa, like fast reading as well, so that you can scan news faster than anybody else. So I think there is a genuinely good reason why a lot of gamers pivot to trading and have success. I'd rather trade Doge on 100x. Do that, come on. I actually quite like the look of Doge before, but yeah. I'm not going to be joining this, unfortunately. We're going to round trip Bitcoin position. Yeah, maybe. I think my dog's outside going mad. Charlie said Litecoin. I'm long. No, I'm sorry. I only long CHZ. It's the only coin to trade. We don't talk about Litecoin here because we missed this move. I mean, that's quite a weird inversion, isn't it? Whoever said DYDX earlier, you get plus 1,000 channel points. Not that I have channel points, I don't think. What mouse am I using? Oh, fuck me, I don't know, mate. Logitech G502. Can it pick up the mouse click, can it? Oh my goodness. This is how boomer I am. Let me just move my setup a little bit so that I'm not clicking your ears to death. Shout out to the DYDX, cool. Yeah. Chads. I did not long with 100x leverage, unfortunately. Oh, maybe I do that as a stream, though. Maybe that's what we do. We do a 100x, $100 leverage stream. Charlie somehow still has a ball in it. Fucking hell. Jim and RB were bullying me on RB's stream. They were saying that they think I'm like a corduroy wearing accountant, like sat there in my like dark or sort of like beige brown corduroy, chilling as an accountant. come on, you can do it. Liquidate GCR. I'm joking, by the way. Please don't take any positions. Let's go 150x on GNS. Lovely. Victor doing that on stream, liquidating the first 2 minutes. It'd be like a note with my wife, disappointing her after 2 minutes to building up expectations. See me gaming with a tweed jacket? That's kind of what they said, man. Why do I have this? Why do I give off this impression that I'm like sat wearing a tweed jacket? I was gonna say guesses in the chat as to what I'm wearing, but that kind of feels like the start of a hot tub stream. Do you know what I mean? Wait, aren't I? No. Smoking some 420 on a pipe. You know you're not wearing anything. I'm always clothed for streams. Always clothed. Yeah, if we could pump CHZ to, I don't know, 0.19, that'd be nice. Fully suited. Yeah, I wear a suit and a tie. Every stream. In fact, I think it's fucking rude to not be suited and booted for a stream. How much do we need to donate to get our names on your arm? 1,000 Luna? I mean, wow. Yeah, no, I'm probably never going to do that kind of donation stuff. I mean, if people want to donate money, it's fine, you know. Take free money, spend it on some. Well, my wife would spend it on something, but yeah, no, I'm never gonna dox if I can help it. To be honest with you, if I wasn't in the market right now, I'd just be longing CHZ on 100x. No, I wouldn't. I did sort of speak about it at the start of the stream. That, you know, one of the things I'm looking for was, which is kind of not playing out, but not this chart. Did I delete it all? I must have done. Rip. Was just this div here, which was a little bit more prominent, a little short up here, and I was looking to get back to here. Maybe we get there. Right. Maybe we get there. Something like that. If you wanted to get back on board, if not, that was probably the short op. Particularly, it's less clear now because I've been an idiot and deleted it all. Particularly with that sort of previous pivot / mid range. So yeah. That was my thinking. In terms of Litecoin and stuff like that, I think most of the things have, you know, probably. Do I want to play Litecoin? Probably not, personally. Just accept the fact that you missed generational wealth. What the fuck is that? Classic. Absolute joy. Absolute joy. Although we pray for Nicky Stacks. You're getting Cardano tattoos? Wow. Wow. You're naming your kid Chili's. I think someone in the group actually said, you know, I'm up bigly on Chili's. I'm gonna name my firstborn child Chili's. And then the next question was, when do I take profit? It was like, probably when you're thinking about naming your first child after a coin. How old am I? I am early to mid 30s. Nice try, IRS. Everyone please market by Litecoin immediately. I send Charlie P&L when I get rich. Let's go. Yeah, so I mean, Chili's is one of those wonderful players that has sort of played out. To be honest with you, like look at it on a relative strength basis. Like I know I'm on a 15-second rotation, but this is how I build a lot of my biases. You know, I watch these rotations and I watch where coins appear in this myriad of shit. And last week it was CHZ every time. Every time. And now it's down here next to God knows what. It's probably going to pump now just to make me look like a twat, but, you know, que sera. You know, Litecoin is still very much up there. Sol, I don't really want to touch, personally. Hello, Poolbury. Between 0 and 50? What, Litecoin? So yeah, I think that's probably it for me at the moment. Like, I've got my little BTC short. I haven't really got much in terms of a massive higher time frame view other than this really. Yeah, it's quite kind of simps. ETH, like my bias probably from a longer, higher time frame perspective is more down. You know, I don't see how we don't sweep this on ETH. But is that before we do something like this, and we do similar to what we did on BTC way back when? The classic like range, like this kind of behavior of establish a range, pong pong pong, deviate that range, push up, deviate it again, and then just fucking die. Like punish everybody, get everyone giga bullish, and then do exactly the same fucking thing again. Like who knows? But yeah, my bias would be this isn't the generational bottom. You know, do I leave that on stream just to, either cloud collect in a week or pretend it never happened? Yes, I do. Between 0 and 50, ah yes. Yeah, I am between 0 and 50. I can confirm. Is premium worth getting? This is highly dependent on you and your trading style, right? For me personally, like I love 1 to 15-second spaghetti, and I basically always have it open, and it rapes probably my PC and my bandwidth, right? Like it just does. And 5-second in this environment at the moment is a bit cleaner than 15 than 1. But yeah, it's not that I couldn't trade without it, but it's a big part of how I like to view the market, which is that whole what's going to rotate the most. What the hell is that? What's going to rotate the most and what's going to offer me, if I do position well, like positioned outside of where the actual price went. That's quite impressive. What's going to offer me the best potential in terms of rotations. I'm just drawing squiggles now, aren't I? So yeah, I mean it's a big part of how I trade. A big part. Do you need it down at this level? I mean, you can get the same sort of idea off 1 minute, but I mean look at the disparity between like the 1 minute CHZ and the 1 second, like, or 15 seconds whatever we were just on, like rotations. Like you're getting a much clearer view, I think, of this rotation on a low time frame basis. Bitcoin looks like it's starting to pull back. What's going on? Like I explained it to someone, like it's like watching The Matrix. If you've ever seen The Matrix, when you stare at something enough, like things just kind of jump out at you. And yeah, it's the Matrix operator, isn't it? He says, I can kind of see like there's a blonde, there's a redhead, there's this, there's that, there's all this code just flying up in front of you. but after a while, it makes a little bit more sense, and you can see oddities, you can see them fast. If your theory was Litecoin is gonna be the in-play coin, which it very much has been, then this just confirms it almost instantly. And if you start seeing like a bottom in structure, you see strong sell-off, high volume capitulation wick, and then you see a little bit of consolidation or a strong bounce off that, and you want to just mark it in and play the bounce, play the mean reversion, then this is just instant confluence that you've probably caught the strongest, or at least a strong contender for this leg. Yeah, I've got a load of pre-recorded content on Spaghetti, and there are some other bits and pieces that I use in conjunction with it to kind of make it a little bit more effective. But it's how I build my trading thesis. It's how I build, conviction in what I want to scalp and what I want to play. And I'm very often not first to the party. So, it'll take one good rotation for me to get in if I'm low time frame scalping. So I will almost always miss. You'll have something like Litecoin, right? And I will always miss that, pretty much. Unless I'm looking at a chart and going like, this is looking really interesting. We flipped all these levels. We've had this previous range, and actually, if it does break out, it's going to be quite explosive. Like I do less of that these days than I've ever done, and I'm much more about focusing on lower time frame rotations. Do I use market order, chase, a scale, a level of interest? So, I think hopefully, as I just kind of explained, that I'm far less about on an hourly chart, easily limiting, right? And you're going to get filled, and it's not really going to matter too much because you're, whilst it does matter, every penny counts. If you're getting filled. If you're looking at moves like this, explosive moves, and you want to, get on board of a, whatever it was, 5-month consolidation range breakout play, which has got good market structure, yada yada yada. I feel larpy because this is a trade I didn't take, right? Then I'll usually just limit because there's no real. I might as well just pay a smaller fee. I'm probably going to get filled, and there's kind of not as much of a rush. Whereas I do limit. And I do market when I'm playing shit like this. So I'll typically be 50-50 as to whether I market or limit in, but I'll almost always limit out if I can. Does that make sense? Because all the fees do add up. They certainly do add up. But often when you're on low time frame, if you're doing smaller clips in, and you're marketing in at certain points, let's say, I don't know, for argument's sake, I want to take a trade here. I think actually this is just going to pretty much be reverse. I'm probably going to market in there, and I'd probably cause that. And then I'd probably start scaling off as soon as we started coming down, and I'd just take the L there. So I think that's it. I think that's probably it for me. Ladies, gentlemen, theys, that, this is, thems. Hopefully that was a bit of a different stream in terms of we talked about indicators and we talked about all that kind of wonderful stuff. If there's any other bits and pieces that you guys want me to kind of focus on as a bit of stream content other than yapping about markets, then let me know. If any of you sign up to Bybit, DM me your ref ID if you sign up with my link, obviously I don't give a shit if you sign up with someone else's. Like, that's treason. That's treason. And I may have some special things coming. I might be able to sort you out and hook you up with some access to certain things. I think I'm going to give away like a Paragon spot and stuff. Well, no, alright. Let's change that from a non-committal I might. I'll give away a Paragon spot to whoever's signed up with my Bybit ref link. Special things for special chat. Makes bots for accounts. I'm going to have to like say, you have to like deposit $100 and made a trade. And then Bybit are doing a $500 giveaway to people who have done that. And then any money that I get, I will potentially reimburse people. I kind of want to do something where, like, if I actually make any money out of fees, like, then we either degen it together on stream, and we take the winnings and we put it back to the accounts. Or something. There must be. I'm not a very creative person, right? But there must be something better than. I think I've got about 80 cents in referral fees at the moment. So, it's going really well. Before people think, you're retiring off this. Sounds great sound, Charlie. So, guys, well, what we're going to do is we're going to take all the deposits, and, well, I don't think the regulation is, like, a bad thing, but, yeah. I need to work on my Sam impression, obviously. But yeah, I think we'll leave it on that wonderful note of a poor impression, because that's usually the sign that I'm getting a bit fatigued. Is it time to play World of Warcraft? Need to work on Big Week Barry. Yeah, but the thing is, I don't know what Barry actually sounds like in terms of voice. Ah, that might be my new clip. So, if anyone has seen or heard Michael Saylor during this stream, so are you having a stroke? Not as far as I'm aware. It was meant to be a Sam impression. I clearly need to work on it. Yes, maybe that's my clip for next week. It's going to be a big week. But I don't think Barry's actually said that anywhere, has he? I think it's just a tweet. Yeah, there is no second best. So if people follow the stream, you hear Michael Saylor. You hear Michael Saylor go, there is no second best. But maybe we have to change it to something else. What's your guys' thoughts on this one?
There is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset.
In your group friend, who would it be and why would it be Charlie?
That's Magus. That's heat. Yeah. Every time someone follows me, we get that going. Or
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
That's another one that I quite like. I don't know why, it just always seems to work. Especially in this environment. But anyway, boys and girls, thank you very much for tuning in. There's been a sort of a sprinkling of alpha with some indicated chat. Some other bits and pieces. Maybe this one.
Mr. Depp, you're down 95%. Have you ever considered selling?
No, I can't. That's a... no.
It's just so good. So good. Have you ever considered selling? No. Right, that's definitely it now, boys and girls. Much love, peace out, and I'll see you next week. I'll probably do a couple of streams next week, because there's probably more to chat about, and I might be a bit better prepared next week. But yeah, hopefully Indicators was good. If any of you want to give me some content ideas for next streams, talk about psychology or risk management, or I don't know, whatever you guys want. If one of you wants to know about it, then there's probably others that do too. And in the meantime, I will leave you with the legend that is BitBoy again. Peace.
I don't represent the people, the fuck I don't. I'm the one who does. It's me. I'm I'm the one out here putting the work in behind the scenes trying to save crypto while these devils, Sam Bankman-Fried, Brian Armstrong, they're trying to permanently ruin it. This is not about money for me. This is not about money. 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 Devils. This is not about money. This is not about money. Devils. This is not about money. This is not. 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 This is not about trying to save crypto while these devils, 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 trying to save crypto while these devils. This is not about money. It's me trying to save crypto while these